Okay, another VOD review for another community member of Benchix here, and we're going to do another Psylocke review. This is a GM3, and I am excited for this one. I love this skin, by the
In
way.
5, 4, 3, 2,
This is good. I like this
1.
positioning early. I miss shots from looking down all the time. That's normal. Very difficult to hit those shots. And you're preemptively expecting, oh, maybe him. Okay, you are down 2. Nice, now get out. Your Hulk might be trying to stall. Oh. Careful being too close to your team. I personally, I hear the Spidey. I would immediately have like started to turn to try and like target him. And also, I personally don't like having myself be down on the low ground, especially near my team. I kind of like to be up top on the high ground myself. Because like, especially as you see like a Hela here, she's just going to be throwing shots out. And if she accidentally misses your teammates, she might be trying to hit you, right? Like, I want to get to a different angle in which, whereas like, if I'm up here, I know this health pack is here, I know this cover is here. If Spider-Man is swinging around, he's gonna be up top, and I could probably hit Spider-Man as he's swinging around in the air, and stay out of the LOS of the Hela in this room, right? Like use the high ground to my advantage, because then if you were up here, then you might be able to hit him a little bit easier. But you are also down, or you were down, so like it is difficult to try and like hold that space. Let's go back a little farther still. There we go. Provide value. Yep, kill the venom. Okay, his E is down. I saw Wolverine on the right. Focus him. Not the biggest fan of this position. Who's your other DPS? Namor? I feel like Namor is kind of be in this same sort of area. Yeah, I personally feel like I would have been contesting the Wolverine on the right-hand side to make sure he doesn't like get into my team. This is good. Especially as you have the snowflake on you. There you go. Yeah. Psylocke all blows. So here you ult, and everyone's sort of full, and there's a large group of them, plus there's Loki clones. If there's like 4 people inside of an ult, and then unless my team is following up directly on top of it, I probably wouldn't ult, especially if there are Loki clones. She's going to hit everybody one time, and then they're just going to heal up through it. So try to use your ult in a way in which you can isolate a target, like look to see like Hela. Hela will bird form away. So what I'll do is I'll save my ult. I'll go in with like a cloak, or I'll go from the side, attack Hela, force the ult from her, and especially knowing like Loki totems are down. As soon as I force that ult from her, then maybe I'll dash on her head and ult on top of her to try and like secure a kill, because then she doesn't have her bird form to get away. Or, you know, force it on Rocket. Jump on Rocket, attack him a bunch of times, watch him use the jet boost or whatever, and knowing he doesn't have a way to get out, then I'll ult on his head. Because otherwise, if you throw an ult into a large group of them, it just does that. It does nothing, and all you do is just end up charging the support ults.
This is real firepower.
I'll copy the rocket. There you go. Luckily, I don't think you need to peel too much because of the fact that at least you have a Namor. Good kill. But every little bit helps, because that'll happen. So you saw Loki use totems, which is good. Get to safety, get to safety. Sit inside the Luna ult, which is good. This is just like nothing's gonna die. Who can you kill? Spider-Man is dead, and we're pumping damage. There you go. This is good. Out, 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 out. You have 2 dashes. Ooh. Very ballsy. It's very lucky, but the moment you start to get into a situation where, like, you know, you're not going to get a kill or something, just get out right away, right? Like, you get out, but you get out with really, really low health. Like, kind of use your abilities to sort of get that execute and then just dip out right away. Nothing's gonna you were doing mosquito bites right now, with rocket ult up. Either help destroy the rocket ult or just kind of like go for something else. You're not even charging your ult here, so
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
oof, there's hesitation there. So there we saw Loki totems, right? So we know Loki doesn't have totems. Oh, I think this is to shorten your cooldowns, actually. I'm just crazy. So here...
Mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
No, ult. There's a hesitation there where, like, after Rocket had used his dash and he's, like, right on top of your head, now is the time to ult, but you dashed and then ulted, and that ultimately got you killed. Like, if you were going to ult, it just should have happened sooner. Because you do have a pretty good stand on just 2 of them, and that would have been better. I will say you get blown up rather quickly, though. That's just Rocket for you.
Your powers are mine.
That's really unfortunate, too, because, like, this is, like, it's 2 Psylocke ults that ultimately didn't get any value. And to be fair, everybody in high elo now knows how to play against Psylocke ult, and it's sort of dog. A lot of your kills and a lot of your value comes from more neutral kills and getting those executes and getting those off angles. But with her ult, I have been able to find value out of it by not using it super often to like engage or like force things like DP or support ults unless I really want to. It's more so out of like baiting everybody's cooldowns first and then hitting Q on top of them. It's a lot to track and a lot to manage, but it has been more helpful for me lately. And right there, what I like what you did is even though you have no cooldowns jumping into the fight, for those people watching, the moment that he heard his thing ult and hit an ult on like the entire enemy team, Benchix was immediately understanding that it didn't matter that if he went in without cooldowns, he needed to get into that fight as soon as possible, so he followed up on it. And because of that, he helps get the execute and stop the res. That stopped the res, right? So here, with no cooldowns, rotating around cover, reset it off of Venom, which is good. Yep, keep pumping, keep pumping, keep pumping, keep pumping. So this is okay, but you keep going to this corner, and I'm not personally a fan of it because of the fact that everybody's still kind of like shooting in a straight line. I still personally like coming over this way, like because Psylocke is so hyper mobile. I use her dashes to get into situations where I can go from like a 90-degree angle off to the side, like either like a soft off angle, you might call it, right? So let me take a look from like top down position here, because this might also help to show it a little bit more. Okay, so if we look at it from like this angle up here, you can see that when everybody is grouped up like this, you're all shooting down the same LOS, and you're seeing which team can essentially pump out damage faster, right? And you have a Namor and you're playing Psylocke. They have a Hela Bucky. In terms of who's going to pump out damage faster, it's going to be the Bucky and the Hela, right? Your job as an assassin is to be much more efficient with your shots. And using your mobility, it allows you to take those angles, which are a lot more aggressive because of the fact that you can easily get back out if you need to, right? So while your team is pumping damage from this way, you want to be contesting this space over here downstairs, and which you can apply pressure from an off angle, right? When you do that, as your team is shooting from this direction and the enemy team tries to find cover, they're not going to be able to find as much cover, because if you're all shooting from the same direction, any cover is going to be efficient for blocking the attacks from everybody. But if you come from a separate angle, now there's a lot less cover for them to utilize. it also provides you more access to the rest of their team and possibly seeing a quick execute, right? So anytime that you see your team entering Rock'em Sock'em Robots territory, I don't want you to be in that position. I want you to start thinking to yourself about how you can use your mobility and your cloak and your different abilities and whatnot to try and find those angles in which you can apply pressure to the team in a much more efficient way. Trying to find some place like that because like otherwise you just end up like pumping a bunch of damage all down the same route, and it's a lot easier to execute people when you're coming from like the sides and stuff.
This is real.
Because now like once those tanks push forward to pressure your thing out as he was taking damage, you were taking damage too.
Firepower.
This is good. Yeah, and right there, right there, because of the fact, I want to go back and watch from Hela's point of view, actually. Let's watch what happens. So here is you and Thing getting pressured out, right? Hela is just doing Hela stuff. And watch how now she walks through this space completely uncontested, and look at what she's doing here, right? Now she has a really good angle on the rest of your team in which she can apply pressure and push you back. And now even though she didn't kill anybody, right? It still applied enough pressure that your team is feeling obligated to back up because they're losing health, right? If you were here in the get-go, like you already would have been contesting this space. But because you're not, she gets to just walk over here for free. And like I was saying before, like that angle that I'm talking about is exactly what I want to see you doing all the time as Psylocke or as pretty much any DPS for anybody who's watching. Because like, look to see the value that this creates, even though they are down one with Bucky coming back from spawn. The enemy team and the tanks are focusing and taking so much of the brunt of the damage as the payload is moving up. And this Hela is doing what I'm talking about, right? She's taking that soft angle and coming at it at the team from the side and applying that pressure. So even though nobody dies, watch as you back up, Loki backs up, Luna backs up, and then it forces the ult. And now they can just give up space, but look how far the payload moved forward, right? Now the enemy team just needs to back up and give up this space and then wait. And they still end up getting a pick somehow through that ult. But that is what I'm talking about in terms of taking those sort of like those off angles, those soft off angles. Here we go. You back up. Now you're contesting her for space, which is good. But then you go back over here with your team. Like, why go this way, right? Like, I see that like your Luna is ulting, but everybody is now just trying to play Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and in that Rock'em Sock'em Robots fight, the Thing loses. Me personally, with Luna ulting like that, I still would have kept pressuring from this because, like, look, you have this good angle here. And you can still fight there. You have health. Luna's ulting. You already have a dash in the chamber, and you have your invis. If it gets dicey, you should be able to dash to the Luna if you need to. But here, you could be attacking from the soft off-angle side here and applying that pressure to the Hela, who was already low. But instead, you go to start pumping damage into their front line. And I see you aiming for the Loki in the back, which is good. But now you have to shoot past the tanks, and that makes it difficult. Hela dies, but ultimately she really shouldn't have. Oh.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
At least you got a kill. Okay. That worked out, but
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
you have 2 dashes, right? And you gotta remember, like, you get shorter cooldowns off of attacking anyway, right? So when you see Rocket low there, dash. Like right here, this is prime dash target execute territory of you see him, just hit the dash, and then if you wanted to, dash forward, dash right back out. Get the quick execute, and then go from there. And then just like, shoot to reset your cooldowns, right? Uh, that is the moment, and this is something that I used to do too, where I would hesitate and I would try to rely on my aim. If you have the execute with your dashes, then go for it. Because right there, you were probably safe anyway, but now it looks like your Loki got the rocket, which is good, but still, in that moment, get used to that. And here, this is why I use her ult all the time to solo ult a tank, because a lot of people will give you crap for like, oh, I can't believe you solo ulted me. But honestly, Psylocke ult is so pointless that unless you find an isolated target, they're probably just going to survive through it. So when I hear like Emma Frost ulting, a lot of times I will try to like shoot and get her low, or just jump on her head and like ult her outside of her ult range, of course, so that way it doesn't stop you from activating it. But solo ult her when she starts to play aggressive that way, so you can get the easy kill on her. Also, this is a hilarious freeze frame. There's nothing you could do there. I didn't even see that one coming. The Hela came down from the heavens. Pushing back, pushing back, pushing back. Looks like they capped, so you need to get out of here. No, you're gonna die. You got on the point. I think you were trying to like stop it from moving, and it didn't. I personally would have like, you're in a position to soft reset. So instead of going that way, I maybe would have gone like into the room instead and just like tried to hide someplace and stood perfectly still and like baited someone into a position. Like people love to chase, and I love to wait for them to chase. So I'll get to a position in which they'll think I'm running away, and then I'll stop and I'll use that third person camera, so that way as soon as they walk around the corner, I'll turn and then just do like a quick combo execute on them to try and get the quick kill. So that way I can stay behind them, and I can lure them into a situation in which I try to take the 1v1. So at the very least I can trade, or I could slowly but surely try to like kill them, reset my cooldowns, and then go for the next kill on the back, and like, in the situation, soft reset as my team starts to regroup, and that way provide a little bit more value. Because like right here, I understand you were left in a pretty bad spot, but I just would have been focused on trying to get out, because there was nothing else you could do. So they're just going to focus you down, then you're just going to stagger really hard.
My light cannot be farewell.
I still need you. Render me assistance.
I personally would have used both dashes out of spawn, but this is an interesting Namor position.
This is real firepower.
Okay, don't forget that if you haven't, try to keep track of Rocket's res stations, because there's not many places that he would put it, but just to keep an eye out for it, because I think he might have destroyed it there, or someone might have used it. But yeah, just keep that in mind too, just in case, because you are really good at being able to get into position to destroy those res stations. And here, you can't do anything. Psylocke pokes like a mosquito during rocket ult, so you just have to try and destroy it.
I am ready to put on
Destroy it or wait it out. Ooh, I wouldn't have done that though. Yeah, that's why.
I am ready to put on a
You're still in a really good position, and you have your ult, right?
I am ready to put on a
So here, I think you went in to try and like jump into your Luna ult, but like you had health, you had a good position in which you could like off angle from up top, and you went into your team to try and play like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. But like when you try to play that game with Bucky, Bucky wins, right? So you need to try and execute people specifically, and with rocket alt down, now is your opportunity to try and jump on other people, right? Because like we go back here with rocket alt up, um, what I would have done is either like shoot the rocket alt, because like if you're in this position and you want to just shoot the rocket alt and you're back here, you can hit the rocket alt and nobody else can see you, right? So you could just shoot the rocket alt because you're not going to kill anything down here anyway. You already have full alt charge, so it doesn't matter. And then I would lure them up to try and chase me and go for the 1v1, and then I would try to attack them to either force cooldowns or to get the execute, right? But like yeah, right here you jump into your Luna ult thinking it's safe, and if there's enough damage coming out, and if she backs up, then you'll definitely die.
Your powers are mine!
I
Yeah.
am ready to put on a show.
Yeah, you gave up a really good position that you were in while you had ult, and while you knew that their Luna, you can see that their Luna is ulting, and you would have been able to just like wait that ult out and then ult afterwards.
Hell unleashed! Only 60 seconds left.
Good execute. Totem. He's gonna get out. Yep, that's what happens.
Only 60 seconds.
Good execute. And now, I personally, I think I personally would have tried to find a different position in which to provide value without being seen. Like you're attacking the supports there, which is okay. Here, I would have just been pumping damage into the tanks. You step out a little bit into the open, which I wouldn't have done. Like you were already luring Venom into a fight with you, right? And you saw that you had a thing here with Loki. I personally would have kept fighting the Venom and forcing him back into this position with me. So like if I'm fighting him here, I also know there's a health pack over here. I could bait him into this room. If I force his E, maybe I could solo ult him. It's not the best idea in the world with a Venom, but it's worth a shot because you're kind of like pressured. But even then, like extra damage is extra damage. But like here, attacking Loki, Loki can go invis, which means he gets out of your ult. He can use totems, which means that won't work. He has clones, which will diminish the damage. And then you have tanks in there as well. This is why you have to pump damage into tanks to provide any value. Then you dash, and it's not the best spot in the world. Good kill on the Venom, at least.
Down to 30 seconds.
Once your tanks are there, you spend too much time near your tanks. And you need to spend more time in positions in which you are farther away, not standing directly next to them. Be near your team, not directly next to your team. Because there's a lot of different areas and places in which you can get value that is better. Like right here, you're pumping a bunch of damage into the tanks, and I think with like with an Amor or a thing or a Hulk, like you need to stop the fight from happening. Like right now, Rocket is using his ult, but think of all the different areas. Like every single time we talk about those soft off angles, like if you come through this way, look, you got these people who aren't even looking your direction, right? Or if you find some way to route around this way, you have people not looking your direction. There's always a lot of different routes around in which you're not standing directly near your teammates, because anytime that I see people sort of like standing near their teammates as Psylocke, I always think to myself that somebody like a Bucky is just a better pick for that. I like to think of Psylocke as like a surgical precision tool that you, in that moment, need to think to yourself, what's the best place for me to get value? This is good. This is not so good. I think you thought that was going to break. Okay. To be fair, I thought that rocket ult was going to break too. And then I think you dashed in there expecting it to break and maybe get like a quick execute or something. And then when it didn't break, then you were sort of like left unsure what to do. But this is that billiards trick I was talking about. Like once you dashed, right? Like once you dashed, what was the plan afterwards, right? Because now you're out in the open. I'm thinking maybe it was to uh dash through, break that, and get an angle on the Hela, and then dash through that doorway. But like right here, yeah. The moment you realized that this ult wasn't, that ult wasn't going to go down, it was, you went back to try and destroy it, but like that was already too late. Like this is a dangerous spot, and with Hela pointing right at you, I would have like dashed through here and invis and cloaked and got out to like a different position. Like the fight's probably already over. But yeah, recognizing in that quick moment that like, oh, this is definitely a bad place for me to be will help you a ton. Because yeah, that's what happens when you're out in the open. Always try to position yourself in a way in which you can see your target and nobody else can see you. Psylocke does really great at 1v1s, not so great at big group fights. That's for like a Namor or a Bucky or a Punisher or a Hela or Hawkeye. All those other heroes do way better at just like standing near their tank and just pumping damage.
Render me assistance.
You spend a lot of time on low ground. And like their tanks are Emma Frost and Venom. If Venom waits his swing to get to you, that's fine. But like here you can hear Hela and you can hear her up there, and she's up in that space. And you see Hulk jump up there, and then you dash across, and you get near the Emma, in which this is what is like wasted sort of wasted time, wasted abilities and cooldowns, because like you dash forward, and the moment you dash forward, the Emma immediately pushes you back out, allowing that payload to move up farther. Whereas like if you go up here, there's now at this moment in time, there's nobody up here, right? And you could have gotten into a different position in which you could have like rotated around the side, gone with like a solo rocket. It is a solo rocket? Yeah, I think it's just a Loki clone. With a solo rocket like on the point, you can go try to get the execute on him. And even if you don't get the execute on him, you could do sort of like similar to what is the cap strategy, which is you take the fight to the payload and stall it out by basically keeping it from moving. So you take the fight to them, and that way, even if you fail to get a kill, you still provided value by not allowing that payload to move. And here you're peeling, and I don't like, you know me, I think that peeling is like fine. I think there is still a place for Venom or for Psylocke to peel. But I do think that like with a Namor and a thing on your team, that you don't have to worry about peeling as much. And communicate that to your team as well, being like, hey, I'm going to try and push the back line, and I'll trust you guys to peel the Venom.
This is real firepower.
Yeah, I see it now. Now, whenever you see your support ults, you have a tendency to always want to be inside of them.
Armed and dangerous again.
Down to 30 seconds. Down to 30 seconds.
Armed and dangerous again.
30 seconds.
Yeah, doing at least a little bit of damage and just like letting them just sort of destroy it on their own is better than like as soon as you dash and shot off a couple of shots, hit your cloak and get out of there, because of the fact that you are going to get targeted for sure. I don't think that was necessarily a bad ult, because it did force the Hela ult to come out, and it was close. A little Hela action now. Yeah.
I like the cold. The final 10 seconds.
Nice. But see, this is what I'm talking about, though. Like, if you're going to play with your tanks, Hela works better, right? Because there, you see someone who's out of position, and you just click their heads, and you just win the fight.
This is real firepower.
Do you win the fight? Do you win the Hela duel? Nope. Pulls you out in the open. Where's your cover? Where's your cover? I would have been personally hugging this side. Like even if it's this, right? Like she has to walk up out in the open. At least be taking an angle in which it's safer. I like to attack the people who aren't looking at me. Which is the reason why, like, when people talk about like 1v1s, I'm like, I think 1v1s are dumb in terms of like trying to pretend like if anybody who wins a 1v1 is the one that wins the game. Like I like to shoot at people who aren't looking at me. It makes it easier. So when there's a direct duel like that, I try to hide someplace where there's near cover, and then I try to refocus my attention onto something else. Like if she's up there and I position myself over here, then she can't see me, right? It's very difficult for her to see me. Or I will do something to where I'll try to contest that space by like maybe like working my way around. Um, or I go through like this area because like once again, you go through here and you try to off angle, and all of a sudden like nobody is in this way. So you kind of want to like, it's not the time now because now the fight's already like been going on, but that is something sort of what I want your mind to be thinking about is like, where do you want to sort of end yourself up? Like, right? Like after you get kills and stuff, where are you going to go next? Don't just be like, oh, I'm in this position. Now where do I go? Be like, okay, I'm going to go to that position. I'm going to attack that person. Then after I'm done attacking that person, where do I want to be after that? Part of the game is, yes, reacting. And the other part of the game is just understanding like where you want to be next. Because right now, because of the fact that she's up there, she gets the space for free, and she just gets to off angle your entire team this whole time.
I am returned to claim
Which means that everyone is just going to drop.
Your powers are mine!
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so we're doing a little Moon Knight action now. Find an angle. Oh, because you're up against Loki. That's fair. I like you just get to really ignore him. Throwing the Ankh to, I believe, offset his like leap and swing was really smart.
Very much.
Yeah, standing behind your team a lot. Don't rely on your strange. Yeah, strange shield to keep you alive. Oh my god, that's so brutal. Good job getting out and recognizing the danger.
Especially caught you. Needed that, thanks.
You have your ult. I already can tell something I would change different, but I kind of want to see where this goes.
A nice deep freeze.
Okay, now you're getting into ult range. That's really good. That's what I would have wanted to see. Okay, now.
I am ready to put on a show.
Okay, that's what I expected to have happen.
Very much.
This is working out, but it's really.
A nice deep freeze. Double kill.
Unleash the Vishanti power. Get in there.
Okay, I actually do want to go back. I know we were watching a bunch there, but one of the things that I'm noticing that you have a tendency to do is just always sort of like be near your team.
Thank you very much.
But here you have your F. You can get up to like the high ground, right? And you have a Luna, you have a Loki. If you're up here and you can hit shots, because like once again, if you're standing next to your team, you're going to be taking damage. And in this situation, I think the only person that can realistically like jump on you or get you up here is if Hela were to fly up, which then she would use her bird to put herself in a position she wouldn't have it to escape. Venom could jump on you, but that's not necessarily a lot of damage. I feel like Luna and Loki could heal you through that. And I don't really see Bucky or anything unless he plans to walk up the stairs. Because like if you're up here and you're hitting angles on them here, or if you're up here and you come this way, right? Like look at the angle now you have on the team up here, right? You spend a lot of time like on low ground, like near your team. And because of that, that's why you end up getting caught later in that Emma ult. Yeah.
All right, that feels better.
Because look at now when she ults, where's your cover, right? Where do we want to be? What are we gonna do? you know, she ults and she sees everybody there, and even though you try to get out of there in time, it's not quick enough, and you end up getting pulled back in, and you get really low, and you get lucky that you don't die. But there's a lot of times that you're standing. I think it's sort of like formation. I see a lot of people sort of like struggle with this, where they're just like, oh, we want to like it's tanks, DPS, supports, and that's what people do. And what makes the game really easy is when you start to contest that space and take those different angles, and so that way you're not standing directly, you know, next to your team. You're standing near your team, and you're providing value by sort of pressuring them back by getting them from different angles, and then hopefully you're close enough to your team that when it does get dicey, if someone were to dive you, you're not too far away from them. But if they were also like, if Emma was to ult some people that were down here, she wouldn't get you as well. Oof. Choke slam is always great. I don't think, do you cap first point?
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
I don't think so. Contesting space. Where can you be to contest space? It's really good. I believe, I don't if people haven't caught on, when you interrupt Venom's swing, it'll stop you. It doesn't have it to get out. And the Ankh, because it pulls you in, what Benchix, I believe, is doing is he's waiting until Venom wants to jump out. And the moment that he wants to see that Venom pops his E and Venom would want to jump out, he throws his Ankh down to interrupt it. And that's the reason why Venom keeps dying. Which is really smart, really well played. Burning the Hela out, really smart. Now your team is dying anyway. It's a died moment.
Our enemies are near. Your god is suffering.
See if he does it again. Nope, he. So Venom is learning, so Venom is leaving sooner than normal because Benchix then hesitated or waited for the time that, you know, Venom would want to actually swing out, and Venom decided to swing out earlier. Smart by Venom, because it means that Venom is learning and adapting to Benchix just as Benchix was adapting to the Venom.
The moon haunts you.
This is good. Really good.
That amplifier should be useless now.
I'll give
Only 60 seconds left. Disappear! It's the grand finale.
That's unfortunate. You're at the back, so your team didn't see that you were there and in danger. This is the part that I don't really like about Moon Knight, is that it's a lot of damage, but not a lot of like... It's a lot of damage, a lot of ults, but then after that, when it comes to like the time to like really target people, it's very difficult for him to target individuals. And I feel like Moon Knight does well based off of how well you can charge your ults and use your ult. Because yeah, in those moments where it's just like, I see people are low. If I'm on Psylocke, I immediately know what I want to do. But on Moon Knight, I struggle as well of just being like, how do I execute these people that are left? Not really a lot to say that you were going up to try and like contest, and there wasn't a whole lot of time.
Final score 0-2-3.
So I can already tell you right now, your biggest hurdle is just off angling. Like, you stand too much directly next to your team and behind your tanks, and that is very much like Hela Bucky territory. Because you can really just pressure out the tanks. Like, Psylocke can do damage to tanks for sure. But there's a lot of situations in which, like, I'm watching back from, like, your point of view, in which we can go and we can take a look in which you are standing directly near your team instead of, like, trying to contest different angles of space, right? Okay, so when I talk about, like, contesting different angles of space here, we can watch this back from your perspective. This location where you are up here at the start is a good location. Choosing to contest space is part of your job as DPS. And here you start in a good position where you're up here, because you could start here, you could start here, maybe even here if you wanted to play slightly aggressive. Because like what the Wolverine does here is he takes an uncontested angle of space. And you saw him, because we remember watching him walk through there, right? Uh, that is part of your job as DPS while the tank is frontlining and holding the space up front. You need to be watching for the DPS who are also going to take those off angles. Because then once he slips through that crack, right, he then gets behind your team and gets ready to make a play. Seeing that Emma is now overextended, he gets a free kidnap. And here is the biggest problem is that you tend to default to standing directly next to your team at all times, right? So you're not providing a whole lot of value just always being in the areas where they are. And also, if you're going to be taking damage, it's odds are they're going to be shooting all down the same pathway, and they're going to eventually hit you. And when you're going up against like somebody like a Hela, Hela just does that better, right? So if everybody is in a line together and both teams are shooting at each other in the same line, Hela does better damage and faster output. So she's going to naturally provide more value for her team. The areas I want to see you do, especially on this map, is when I say taking off angles, like if you are in this room downstairs underneath, and as their tanks push forward, you can be applying pressure and shooting their tanks while your team is shooting from this direction. And when you're in this room, nobody out here then can see you, right? A DPS would need to try and follow or get to you to try and contest that space. Or you could do it from upstairs. You can do it from up top down over here. This one's a little bit riskier. But there are a lot of different angles in which you can take as Psylocke that I want you to do because of the fact that you are hyper mobile. It means that you can get to positions really quickly. It also means you can get out of positions really quickly too. So if you need to, you can, be shooting from up on high ground over here, over here, over here, right? Or even on low ground, and you can dash back out relatively quickly and relatively safely. Even if you're off angling and you're just applying pressure to the tank, that's still a lot of value that you can get for free because of the fact that you'll be able to do it for free from this location. And to top it off, there's a lot of health packs in this area. There's one in this room upstairs here. There's one downstairs in this location. There's one upstairs here. And there's another one downstairs here. That's a lot of health packs for you to go around in which you can access a lot of health for free. And even if you find yourself like in this position, like say, you needed to dash out and be near your team in order to get healed or reset your cooldowns, the only time I want to see you in this position is when you are resetting your cooldowns on the tanks after you've used them to get out or get an execute or something, right? And then like when you need to reload, put yourself back in another position where you can try and off angle from like the sides or something. Because your biggest flaw is not contesting those areas of space and not taking those angles which are safer and more effective and more efficient for you. Because you are an assassin, you're not going to do well standing behind your team, but you're going to do very well being very aggressive at taking those angles and attacking the enemy team. And I want to show you, there's a good example of when you do it poorly and when you do it really well. So like right here, you have a tendency to default to this location here on the side. And I don't like this spot here. This spot doesn't provide a whole lot of value because then your team does this a couple of times where you're shooting all down here, right? You're all taking the same angle and just pumping damage and just seeing who pumps damage faster. It's just not efficient, right? There's better and more strategical ways to do it, right? Coming up here. So this location, not super great. Your team starts to back up, right? But then watch right here. This spot is absolutely perfect. Your team is shooting from this position, right? Look at the angle now that you have on the Wolverine, right? If we go even from your perspective, right? If you adjust a tiny little bit and you are shooting from here, that's even fewer people that have a chance to see you and even better angle you can get on the people in front, right? These are the types of angles I want to see you do as Psylocke, is using your mobility that as your team is shooting from this direction, you can dash and get to areas in which you are constantly like maneuvering around trying to get that perpendicular angle. And when you back out, when you use your mobility, if you do get pressured and someone tries to fight you for that space, you can back out easily. Because at some point, the Hela had also taken that off angle, as we had seen, and she did so and pressured your team back without even needing to get any kills, right? Right here. Watch this. You take damage, your team takes damage, your team is backing up. You see how nobody died, but everybody is backing up? It's because Hela came from that off angle and started pushing and contesting you guys from different angle, which even though she's more isolated, is actually safer because she's got the drop on you. That drop that you get as like, the sort of surprise attack is what you need to do more often, especially as Psylocke, because you have such fast mobility. You have your cloak. You have a lot of tools in which allow you to access those side routes. Get there quickly, get in, get an execute, get out and reset and do that loop over and over again. Use your abilities in which you can get to those spaces quicker and contest that space because that is your job. Uh unf- your for some reason default is to like right here. All of you are standing together here, and now you're shooting the venom, and that is exactly what the venom wants you to do, right? Like he wants you to do this. Look at how much more efficient it is for a DPS to take a side angle and apply damage to a team, right? If you were already contesting this space, you would have already kept that Hela from accessing the area. Same for at the start of the round, when if you were already contesting that space and you saw the Wolverine come in, you could have contested that Wolverine. That's what I want you to do all the time. If your team is going this direction, you need to start thinking of how can I come from this direction or this direction, right? Because if you need to, you can always dash out to your team. However, I will say a lot of the times when I dash to my team, it's still very dangerous. As you saw on the second point when you tried to dash to your Luna, it doesn't always work out super well. So that is something I really want you to focus on and want you to work on when you're playing Psylocke or when you're playing DPS in general, is focusing on what areas of space that you can contest, and not standing directly next to your team, but being near your team so you can use your mobility if you need to get to them. But for the most part, I want you to contest those off angles and apply more pressure looking for those assassinations. But yeah, that is what I would say is like your biggest takeaway. Cause like if you just start off angling like that, I feel like your games would just magically get a lot easier. Oh, and when you're doing ultimates, track every single cooldown. Solo alt a tank, like get a tank low and then just solo alt them. Like if it's an Emma that has a hard time getting away. If you know that Hela's got bird form, force the bird form first. If Rocket has jet packs, force the jet packs first. And Loki's got totems, force the totems first, and don't throw it into a large group unless you're doing like a follow up, like an Amor alt with Psylocke alt or a Thing alt with Psylocke alt. Like her alt is so bad the higher that you climb that if you don't force out a bunch of cooldowns before you use it, it's never going to get any value. So yeah, if you can save it to where you force those cooldowns and then just solo ult someone, because otherwise it's like this where there's a bunch of times where you ult and you're like, I just can't seem to get any value out of this thing, because how you used to ult with Psylocke, it would get a bunch of kills, especially in like low elo games. You could like hard carry with it by just ulting the entire team. And now people have learned to play against it so well that it doesn't really do a whole lot. So yeah, force those cooldowns and solo ult people and focus on those off angles, right? Use your mobility to your advantage and quickly get to those off angles and apply that pressure and sort of just like keep doing that. Because you can shorten your cooldowns that way, it works really well to attack from the front, dash to the side, get that off angle, and as you're doing that and you're applying pressure and they start to move backwards, right? Then all of a sudden you've reset your cooldowns again to where even if you're not necessarily getting kills, you can immediately dash and start off angling again from another place. You can kind of just keep doing that the whole time. That's what I love about Psylocke, is she's very much like I'm gonna do my own thing, and that by doing my own thing, I help my team that way. But yeah, do that stuff and let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions, once again, you're very active in the Discord, so feel free to hit me up and ask me. Um, I'll definitely help you out with anything I can. Anyway, yeah, thanks for submitting this one, and yeah, let me know how it goes.